I know the band Ingested is often described sort of as death metal, but do you guys have a way that you tend to describe it?
I would the best way that I would describe us is modern death metal because we're we are predominantly a death metal band,
Mhm.
but just because we are a death metal band, that doesn't mean that everything that we do is death metal. Like we're a
Sure.
band that we literally do things like however we want to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like we literally do what we want when we want, like and how we want to do it. So some of our songs might sound a bit more deathcore, or some of our songs might be a
Okay.
bit more brutal, or they might be a bit more slammy, or some of them are melodic. Like some of them have more black metal influences. Like because we don't ever we don't ever put ourselves in a box when it
Mhm.
comes to writing music. And because we write music for ourselves and nobody else, it's like that frees us up because the weight of expectation, we don't feel it. Like, because we don't give a
Right.
shit what anybody else thinks. Like, we've never pandered or appeased to anybody. Do you know what I mean? We've never been like,
Sure.
oh, is this maybe if we write a song like this, we'll get on the radio, or maybe if we write this type of song, maybe we'll be in a magazine. We couldn't care less. We don't care. Like, I'm not bothered about that. None of us are. So we literally just do it for ourselves, and that means that we can do whatever we want. Which is why when people say like when people the best thing is when you see people arguing over what type of band we are. And you got some of them going, no, they're a deathcore band. No, they're a brutal death metal band. No, they're a death metal band. And I'm like, you're all right. All of you are right. Like it just depends what album you're listening to or what song you're listening to
Right.
or what part of the song. Do you know what I mean? It's not maybe it's not even a full
Certainly.
song. Maybe it's just a bit. Like so. Yeah, you're all right. All of you are right because we are all of those things and more. Like so, yeah, I'd say
Sure.
so. I think the loose term that I would use that I do use is modern death metal because we use everything, every tool in our toolbox, our entire arsenal. Like we use it because we can, because we want to. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
we don't. I don't give a shit about labels or genres or anything like that. Like we're a death metal band, but that doesn't mean that that's all we do. Like
Well, who are some of the musical artists that influenced you when you were growing up?
um like musical influences, I would say Pantera, Lamb of God, Slipknot, Fear Factory, Slayer, Metallica, like that kind of stuff. Chimera, definitely. Killswitch Engage had a lot of influence on me as well. And then obviously as I got older, and started getting into more brutal stuff, then it was like your dying fetuses, your cannibal corpse, your suffocation, decapitated, aborted, like that kind of stuff.
All the
Um,
big ones.
yeah, like all the big death metal ones. And then Devourment, when we started getting into more brutal stuff and um guttural secrete, heinous killings, like all the really disgusting, brutal stuff. But I mean, as far as inspiration goes, for me, like obviously I grew up on a council estate in Manchester. So um watching watching Oasis rise to the top in the 90s was crazy for me because they came from where I came from. Like
Wow.
they're literally from a council estate that's like 10 minutes in that direction from my house right now. And it's like they to watch what they achieved and where they came from and it was like you've come from nothing, council estate, no money, like and then to watch what you did. And from Manchester as well. It was like to me that shown me like you can do it. People like us
Yep.
can do it. Like we're not like just this isn't, this isn't it for us. Like it's like you can get out of this. You can work your way out of it and become something, become someone. And that for me, that was like always the biggest like inspiration, not on a musical level, but just like it's possible. Do you know what I mean? Like to show you the way that it can be done for people like us. Um, Inspiration as a front man, as a performer. I always say Freddie Mercury, man. Not like vocally, like,
Yes,
but
the
like
performance was, you said.
his performance, like the way that he could captivate a crowd and like have them like in the palm of his hand. And like for me, there's no greater than that. Like that is greatness personified as a front man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, like that's where my musical influences and my inspirations as a performer and just the inspiration to show you that it was possible came from.
You have a new full-length studio album coming here in April called The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams. Where does that title come from?
That title came from it's a line in the song Endless Machine that's on the new album. Those lyrics were wrote by our guitarist Sean. And when Sean brought those lyrics to me and Lynn, our drummer, we read through them and we were when we got to that line, we were like, wow, that's heavy. That line's like really heavy. Like it struck us because it felt like it perfectly encapsulated what our band's journey has been up to this point. Like that's what it felt like for us. We were like, yeah, that is that's how it's been. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's what's got us to this point. And we were like, ah, oh, should we get like that is an album title. That is a proper album title. And then we kind of ummed and ahed about it, and then we were like, oh, is it not a bit wordy though? Like, and then we took a moment and we were like, when have we ever given a shit
Yeah.
about what other people think? We were like, do we like it? And then we were like, yes. And we were like, then it's that then, innit? Like, we were like, that's the one. Like, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. Like, we like it, so that's what it is. Like, and that's where it came from. Like, and I think it tells the story of our journey as a band from where we started, everything we went through, and to get to this point. And I think it encapsulates the themes of the album as well. Like, I think it's a perfect title. Like, I don't know why we even took a second to even second guess ourselves on it. Like,
This new album is a little different from the ones of your past as well. Were you all interested in focusing more on songwriting and sort of the flow of your music these days, or did it just happen to come this way?
it just came this way. Like, we're not a band that ever sets out to do something specific. We just do what feels natural in the moment every time. Like, so this is just how it happened. This is just the songs that we were writing at the time that we were feeling it. And the one thing that we did put a lot of time and effort and conscious thinking into was the flow of the album. Because what we wanted to do was we wanted to create the album as a full experience. So although you can listen to the album separately, like the songs separately, and they all stand alone. So you can listen to the singles, you can listen to it in your Spotify playlist, and they all stand individually and they stand strong and they're all bangers. But the album is designed to listen to in one go in order. That is the whole purpose of why it is the way that it is. There's a story to the album, not in a narrative speaking, but like the album takes you on a journey. There's a clear beginning, a middle, an end. And throughout that album, as you listen to the tracks in order, there's ebbs and flows and peaks and troughs. And then you get to the center of the album, and then there's a calm. There's like a moment of clarity and a moment of respite when you're like in the eye of the storm, and then it just spits you back out. And you spat out, forced out, back out into this whirlwind that just spins you round and round and round and round until you get to the closing track, A Path Once Lost, and then that just sends you off into the sunset. And I think the album's perfectly paced, and I think it really does. It takes you on a ride, like, and it's a great ride.
Well, the opening track, Paragon of Purity, is one of my favorites, as is Pantheon. Do you have a personal favorite track, one that really holds a close part of your heart, or do they all tend to be your babies at this point?
I mean, I do love them all. Like I love all of them. There's a specific part on a song called Kingdom of Sand, which is the very ending part, like where there's this crushing riff and this like repeated vocal phrase, and it's just so sick. And that's probably my favorite part on the entire album. Like that, just that part is just so good. Like that, like the hairs on my arms like just stand on end when I hear that because it's just so crushingly, ludicrously heavy, but it's like so catchy as well at the same time. Like, but my as far as like a favorite song on the album, I would say A Path Once Lost, which is the final track on the album, just because it has a little bit of every single thing that we do on that track, and the the chorus, the hook is so catchy. Like I remember the first time I heard the demo of it when Sean sung it, and I was just like, that is wild. I was like, that is mad. And it was in my head for days and days and days and days. And I was like, yo, this is the one. Like, I was like, this is truly the one. Like, this is fantastic. So yeah, I think A Path Once Lost is just it's not just a great ingested song, it's a great song, full stop. Like, it's a genuinely good, great song.
We talked a bit about the songwriting aspect to this album. What is your process for coming up with songs? Do you need to have sort of a beat or a melody in mind and then you craft lyrics around it, or is it the opposite?
I well, we all kind of write constantly, like all the time. Whenever we finish writing one album, we're already waist deep in another one. Like, so it's like we're all because we're always constantly writing. It's like I don't write lyrics to music initially. So what I'll do is I'll write lines and verses, stuff that I think's cool, and then when Sean does send me a song over, I'll then start listening to the song and seeing if there's there's any places where these lines or these verses can fit. And then once I've found a spot, then I can start working around that. So if it's just a line and then I'll start working backwards or forwards from that line, I'll just start to build a song around a specific point. Um, but yeah, I just write lyrics and I have like a massive like notepad file on my phone of just lines and lines and lines and lines of lyrics like, and then basically I'll just listen to the songs that and invariably something fits. I mean, every now and again they might send me a song over, and without even looking at that, I'll just hear the song and I'll feel something straight away, so I can just start writing. Like I'll know exactly what I want to write about, and I'll know what the vocal patterns are and stuff. So it changes basically. It just changes from song to song. Sometimes the lyrics are already pre-written. Sometimes I'll just hear the song and I'll just be like, "Yo, I know what to do with this." Like, so it just depends on the song, really.
How hands are you then when it comes to the production side of the music?
We're pretty hands-on. We're pretty hands-on. We always know what we like. But the good thing is that we've been working with Christian Donaldson um, for so many years that he already knows what we want. Because we worked with him for so many albums, like he knows exactly what we want. And he nails it every time. And the best thing is as well, he can get that ingested sound, but he manages to improve it every single time, which I find insane. Like it's mad. Like because he already knows what we want. He knows the guitar tones we like. He knows everything. Like he knows how I like my vocals, and he just manages to make it sound even better every single album that we work with him. So not only are we getting better, he's also getting better like every time. Like so, yeah, we're on to a winner.
With the album out coming in April, how do you guys plan to celebrate the release?
Um, I don't know, I'll probably have a couple of beers if I'm being honest. Yeah, I'll definitely be having a couple of beers. But
Some live
we've got
performances?
well, a week after the album comes out, we embark on a UK and European tour, a headline tour, which is super exciting. So that's how we're going to be celebrating. We're taking out Vulvodynia, Fallujah, and Melancholia with us. So it's gonna be an amazing tour, and tickets are flying out as well. So yeah, it's great. I'm super excited. So that's how we'll be celebrating. The album will come out. I'm gonna have a couple of beers. I'm gonna watch WrestleMania, and then I'm gonna go on tour.
Whatever makes you happy, good for you.
Yeah,
What do you hope lingers with audiences then explore this new album as a whole? Is there a message or just damn good music you want people to hear?
it's just damn good music. It's just damn good music. Like that's what it is, and that's what it's always gonna be. Because, like I said, like we don't set out to do something specific. We just write what feels natural and what feels good and most importantly, what sounds fucking sick. Like, um, so yeah, it's like for me, all I want from these albums is for people to have a good fucking time when they listen to it. That's what I want. I want people to fucking enjoy it. And I want it to last, and have longevity and people go, yo, that was the best death metal album that got released all year. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. I just want people to enjoy it, to enjoy listening to it as much as we enjoy listening to it and as much as we enjoyed making it.
Well, I am incredibly excited for the new album to come out, and we talked a little bit about touring. What can fans expect from a live and just performance?
Um, just this crazy maniacal intensity. Like we always have took pride in how intense our live shows are. Like, you've got a lot of bands that are able to do all the bells and the whistles with like all the pyros and shit, and we've never got to that point yet. Do you know what I mean? We've not been lucky enough to get to um be able to splash that kind of cash on our live shows. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that when we get off stage, people's jaws are on the fucking floor every
Right?
single time. Like, and we do that by taking everything that's on our albums and surpassing it tenfold. Like there's an aggression and just a animalistic savagery to an Ingested show that I don't think many other death metal bands can really compete with. Because there's a switch that we flick before we go on stage and we become something else entirely. Like the me that's on stage performing with Ingested is not the same person who's sitting here laughing and joking with you. Do you know what I mean? It's like I become something else, and I have to because in my normal life I can't reach that level of savagery. Like so, I have to open that Pandora's box, so to speak, and become something else. And then once the show's over, I put that back in the box, and then I'm like, hi. And then I'm back to normal.
What would you like to say to everyone who are fans and supporters of Ingested and the music that you all make?
I just want to say thank you so much to all our fans around the world, because your support is what keeps us doing this crazy thing that we do, this thing that we were born to do. And whether you're supporting us by buying the albums, pre-ordering the new album, buying tickets to a show, buying merchandise, streaming our albums. Like that is the thing that keeps the lights on at home. That's what pays the rent for us. And without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. So just please just keep on supporting us and we'll keep on coming to your city and performing as the best death metal band that we can possibly be for you. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. Please pre-order the new album, The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams. It's out on April the 5th through Metal Blade Records. If you want to pre-order it, you can go to ingested.co.uk and then we've got links to web stores all over the world, so you don't have to worry about shipping or anything like that because we'll have a web store in your country. So yeah, please enjoy the album, pre-order the album, and hopefully I'll see you all on the road soon.